Hey everyone, this is Teresa from Base 10 Montessori, and today we are going to do a non-Montessori video. Today I'm going to show you all about the latch hook project I'm working on for Christmas, and I wanted to do this with my family because I thought it's simple enough that everybody can do, and also it just kind of gives you something special that you can have nice memories over. My grandfather, even after he went blind, used to make latch hook rugs, and so we still have all of those rugs, and that's really special for our family, and they've lasted decades. My grandfather passed away in 1982, and I still have all of his rugs. So, I think that this is really a nice special family memory, and everyone can participate because it is a simple craft. So I want to show you a little bit about what I'm doing today, and hopefully this will give you some inspiration for a Christmas project for your family. Now, instead of ordering a kit with a pattern, I decided that I wanted to do my own pattern. And the reason why I did this is because I actually am going to fill the center of this with random Christmas colors to kind of make it look like candy sprinkles. So I'm just doing an outline, just a frame, and then we'll fill in the center with those random pieces of yarn. And in order to do this rug, we have to cut our own yarn because I decided I didn't want to order pre-cut yarn. I did find this on Amazon. This is what helps me measure and cut my yarn, and I'm going to show you how that works today. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'll show you how to do some latch hooking. So as you can see here, I have my Super Saver rolls I got from Walmart. I just looked for the cheapest yarn. Sometimes the cheapest yarn will unravel, so that might not be the best quality, but for what we're doing with this project, I was plenty happy to do these Red Heart Super Saver jumbo yarns. Around the frame, I'm going to do red and white. As you can see, I've already started. And then in the center, it'll be green, pink, red, and white to make it look like little candy sprinkles. So I'm taking my inspiration from my grandfather, who used to make a lot of these. And before I show you how this works, I'm just going to show you the back of my latch hook real quick. And instead of finishing off my latch hook at the end with a binding, I actually folded it over and I just latched hook like 3 rows of double canvas folded over to finish it off. And you can kind of see here where I folded it over, and then I just latch hooked through the folded edges. Let me turn this right here. So it's folded right here. I'm folding it under, and then I'm just latch hooking through a second row of thickness. And I do think that it worked really well. It's my first time trying that. And that was a really simple way for me to not have to worry about finishing off with binding when I was done. So for the more experienced people that have a little more strength in your fingers, you might want to start these folded rows if you do this technique. That's why I'm starting it first. And then my family's going to fill in the middle for me. So I'm doing a little bit of the hard part first and then letting them do the easier part later on. So before we can do the latch hook, we have to make latch hook pieces. Now, yes, you can buy pre-cut yarn, you can buy pre-done kits, but if you're like me and you're a little bit crafty and you want to put in the extra elbow grease for making your own, this actually works surprisingly well. It was my first time trying one of these, and honestly, it's so simple, it actually works. So today I am going to use the red yarn to show you what it looks like to cut your own threads for a latch hook. And as you can see, this dowel has a groove right here. So we've got a handle, we've got a groove. And what we're going to do is we're going to wind our yarn around and then use our scissors to cut down this groove. And for the scissors, make sure they're sharp. And your sewing scissors are going to be much better than household scissors because they're going to be a little sharper, and you're going to need that to cut through the yarn. It's going to ruin your yarn if you try it with dull scissors, so just be aware of that. So I'm going to hold this right here, and we're going to use the Goldilocks method of not too tight and not too loose, just right. So start winding. I kind of wind it all the way up, and then I make sure it's loose enough that I can push it down. So I'm going to wrap it, push it down, wrap it, push it down, wrap it, push it down. And there you go. So the tricky part now is kind of keeping this snug and tight while we cut it. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to try to film and cut at the same time while holding this. We'll see how successful I am. So it's just going down this groove. Now, if you have the little tiny sewing scissors, those work a little bit better than these bigger scissors. These bigger scissors are a bit thick for this, but they will work. Just do a little snip at a time. Like I said, make sure they're sharp. Otherwise, they will fray your yarn quite a bit at the end. Make sure that last little one is cut. And there you go. You've got perfectly sized latch hook yarn. And that's what I've been doing to make this latch hook. So I'm just cutting a bunch of yarn out, putting them in bags, and then I have a bunch of yarn that I can use for latch hooking. So that is how you use the dowel. Now when it comes to actually doing the latch hook, what you're going to do is hook it. You're going to push it through like that. Then you're going to take one of your pieces of yarn, hook it, join the ends together. I'm going to need both hands for that. See if I can do this and film at the same time. But try to make sure your ends are together and even. This will be down to start with, so you can hook, and then it's going to close as you pull through. Pull it through, slide the latch back, hook again, and then pull it through, and you're just making it a knot into your latch hook. So it's just making knots all the way through. And that's how you latch hook. So all of these are just knots, one knot for each square. So that's the basics of what I'm doing. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what I'm making for Christmas, what I'm doing as a Christmas project with my family. So hopefully I've given you enough of a brief overview of every step of this project, just to give you a little inspiration, a little idea. There are tons of latch hook videos out on the internet. So I will try to drop a few good links down below if you're interested in learning this skill a little bit more thoroughly than what I showed in this video. But I wanted to give you an idea of what I'm working on as a Christmas project for my family. It's something that is relatively easy, and it builds strength in the hands. And hand development is an important part of Montessori in working with both the left and the right, and you do have to cross the midline. So those are a lot of things that really are beneficial if you're an early childhood person, if you are a child development person, and you understand the importance of, first of all, that pincer grip, developing that pincer grip, developing the muscles in the hand, and of course, crossing the midline and working with both hands at the same time. If you're an education person, you know how important those skills are. So this is a great project for that. And at the same time, it is fairly simple. And it's fairly affordable too. So it doesn't have to cost you a ton of money. And like I said, I'll try to find a few more good tutorials that are more thorough than what I showed you today, but I just wanted to give you a simple idea for your family and maybe a special Christmas project that you can do. So with that being said, that's all I have for you today. I hope you've liked this video. If you did like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.